Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are here to ramble about board games on another Wednesday Banter episode. Sponsored by Gray Fox Games, no less.
Woo.
Yeah. Continued
Woo.
sponsorship.
Yeah. That was an extra good woo because I'm sick.
Yeah. that was the most excitement Jeff could offer at the time. It may have seemed sarcastic. It wasn't. There was legitimate excitement in his face.
Peak methamphetamine. Amphetamine?
Amphetamine.
Minus the meth. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, we were talking about meth earlier,
Yeah.
so.
There's been a lot of meth conversations recently.
Yeah.
Megan was talking about how a lot of the patients she sees in the neuro wing that are young are all meth heads because meth fucking wrecks your brain.
That sounds right.
Like, if you have a stroke and you're under 40, you're probably a meth user.
Huh.
Probably. Not always, but odds.
All pointing to
Yes.
Meth.
good old meth.
All roads lead to meth.
Well, off that cheerful thought,
Yeah.
let's
It's gonna be a lot of mouth breathing today.
yeah, from Jeff,
Yeah.
stuffy Jeff over there. Yes. Oh God. Have fun, Zach.
At least it's not chewing gum.
That's
True. Oh my gosh, that Dread episode was something else.
No, I forget what I was telling him. I was like, I'm really glad Adrian didn't bring that up to me beforehand because I would have been like, no, we cannot do that.
See, I partially wanted to do it because I knew it'd be obnoxious on the mics. I didn't realize until I was at it. Granted, some of it is like the editing process where you have to listen to the same clip like over
100%,
as you
yeah.
do, and it's just like
Yeah.
just repeated. It's like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Like how sometimes when you edit words just cease to lose meaning when you're listening to the same little section.
Yep.
Trying to get that edit just right. That smooth transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyhow, Jeff, you and I were up at the condo this weekend. We got in
Yeah.
some sweet snowboarding.
You were up there for like a bunch of days.
Yeah. Megan and I went up Thursday morning after she got off work. We were going to ride a little bit Thursday, but by the time we got up there, hey, I've been up for like 13 hours on a night shift kicked in.
Yeah.
And so she passed out hard. And I was like, well, she's sleeping, so I might as well be productive and edit. And so then I spent the next like 7 hours editing.
Nice.
With a little break in between where we went to the store and shit like that. But
Yeah.
didn't end up riding it all Thursday, just kind of hung out at the condo all day Thursday.
And then it snowed Thursday night.
And it started snowing Thursday evening, snowed all Thursday night. We woke up to, originally it was supposed to be like 2 to 3 inches at Keystone. It ended up being a little over 4.
Nice.
And then it snowed all day Friday while we were riding. So Friday was a beautiful powder day. We had a blast.
Still wasn't that like, 18 inches they got on closing weekend?
Yeah, no. I mean, that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
literally the only powder day I've had so far.
Yeah, double-digit powder days are rare nowadays. They used to be much more common, but
Weird.
Yeah.
What could be happening?
if only, like I feel like something's changing related to the weather.
Yeah.
Weather changing, weather change.
I don't know.
That's a scary word. You can't use that.
Yeah,
It was 47 today, though, so.
right. Yeah, exactly. But Friday wasn't as good of a day. We had difficulties. Megan got separated early and stuck in a bunch of deep tree powder that was left over from the day before that kind of wore her out early. And so it wasn't the bestest. We all kept kind of getting separated and having to do the like, all right, where's everybody at? Let's meet up. But overall, any day snowboarding is a pretty good day.
Yeah.
And then Sunday was amazeballs. Sunday was a great day of riding.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, for Megan and I, we met up with her friends, Marn and Dan, that we've been trying to hang out with more often. And they had another friend, Meg, who came up with them. And they're all like solidly blue, a little black. So they're a little bit less proficient than Megan and I, but not much. And Megan and I went into it more like coming off of what was for us, like going from powder day to like that kind of slightly downer Saturday. Like, so we like had our expectations set a bit more mellow. Like, all right, the snow's not going to be that great. You know, like a lot of things are getting tracked out. Let's just go out and kind of goof around and have fun. And we had the right mindset for the kind of day. And it was a bright bluebird day.
Yeah.
Started off bitter fucking cold. You're probably lucky you didn't get up there until like 10 or 11 when it started to warm up.
Yeah.
When Megan and I pulled into the parking lot, the car said it was a 1.
Wow.
So
that
sucked.
That's what it was at like 5 a.m. this morning when we left.
Yeah.
It was real cold.
Yeah.
And that was the middle of the night.
So But yeah, overall, three really good days of riding and a bunch of good board gaming at the condo, which I'll talk about here shortly. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I completely forgot all about playoff football. Apparently, there was playoff football.
The dam was pretty busy.
Yeah, I bet.
The Dam Brewery. And it was like Saints Eagles?
I think so.
I think the Saints won.
I think the Saints won.
Oh.
The Cowboys got rolled by the Chargers. The Chiefs. Wait, no, that might have been 2 weekends ago.
I have
Never
no
mind.
idea. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
I don't know. No, wait, no. I don't know. Cowboys, of course, didn't lose to the Chargers. They're not in the same conference. I'm talking
Sure.
crazy talk.
What? I would have believed you.
Yeah, clearly everybody here
100% you would-
did.
Yeah.
Cowboys got rolled by somebody. Chargers, they got beat by the Rams. That's what it was. It was LA. So I was right about it being LA, except the Chargers aren't LA anymore.
No.
So.
Duh.
Yeah. I heard the Broncos got one of the Bears coaches or something.
Yep, Broncos have hired a head coach. It is the Bears defensive coordinator who took them from like near last in the league in defense to like
Number one
in 4 years.
Yeah.
And all of the Bears defensive players were tweeting various gifs of people crying or burning shit or breaking shit, which made me feel real good. Like
Yeah.
if the players from a really good defense are that upset to like lose him.
Yeah.
I also saw like that meme of like the guy with his girlfriend looking at the other
Yes.
girl. There's one of those, and like the coach was the boy, or it was the guy, and the girlfriend was the really good defensive player. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I'm not going to say it forever trying to remember. I know neither of you know. Really good defensive player who they took from the Raiders, and then the new girl he's looking at walking away was Von Miller. So it was like, oh yeah, nope, Von Miller. Then there was a bunch of drama over our offensive coordinator, and last I heard, we still haven't sorted that out. Sports ball.
I learned a fun fact that you cannot block a head coach's hiring, but I guess other like lower coach level things, like teams can block
Yes.
those moves or something.
Yeah, like that was one of the things the Broncos, after they axed our head coach, they were like, every single coach, like position coach below, you all have permission to interview anywhere else. Like we're
Wow.
cleaning house.
Wow.
So go get yourself other jobs.
Wow.
And that seems to be what's happening.
Okay. Good times.
Yeah.
Good
We'll
times.
see how it all goes. My brother was ranting, and I can never tell with my brother if it's a legit rant or if it's like I'm trying to fuck with you, Adrian rant.
Uh-huh.
But he was ranting about the Broncos hiring some old defensive guy instead of some young, hot offensive coach like the Rams have that have led to them having like one of the top offenses. And I was like, well, the last time we did that, we got Josh McDaniels and he ruined everything. So last time we hired a young offensive-minded head coach, he drafted Tim Tebow. Enough about that. How are you guys' weekends?
I was also at the condo. You missed all of the sweet, sweet old movies we watched.
I figured I'd leave that to you.
Yeah. So I had the remote and I was just like, what's on? And someone had mentioned Lethal Weapon, but it was only like Lethal Weapon 2, 3, and 4.
Well, I thought Hulu only had 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and then I found one and I was like, boop, time to watch Lethal Weapon. I have not watched Lethal Weapon in a long time. Still a great movie.
I hadn't either. I forgot how accurately that movie portrayed Mel Gibson as a batshit insane individual.
Yes. And also how Christmassy that movie is.
Yeah, there's
it
a lot of
begins
Christmas.
and ends with Christmas music.
Yep.
There's no debate over whether Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie.
No.
Just Die Hard.
Which, for the record, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yes. And then after that, I was cruising around the menu and I found Phantoms. And I was like, man, Phantoms. And then someone was like, oh, I think it was Julie. It's like, Julie had never seen Phantoms. And I was like, boop.
Yeah. I believe your exact words were, how has Aunt never made you watch this? We're watching this.
Yeah. And then
she fell asleep.
Yeah, that's fine. I watched Phantoms.
As did I.
Yeah.
I mean, you put it on for her, but it continued to be on for you.
Yes. Everyone had described the city that it was filmed, or at least the overhead shot of where it was filmed, as Georgetown, which is on the way to Silverthorne from Denver, which I just discovered this morning driving back from Silverthorne, where it was filmed. Georgetown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a.k.a. the place where traffic goes to shit.
Yeah. Unless it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and then it's totally fine.
Weird.
Yeah.
How there aren't a shitload of people out.
Yeah. A lot of trucks.
Yeah.
It's good trucking time.
Probably because there aren't a shitload of cars.
Yes. And then the
It's
next
prime
day.
ice sliding time, though.
Oh, yeah. It was cold as balls. And then the next day, one of the options we were kind of flipping through was Mimic was also on there. So we decided to watch Mimic on Sunday. And then we have rediscovered that that's just an old Guillermo del Toro movie.
Right.
Yep.
And really good.
I mean, I remembered it was really good. I didn't realize it was Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
And also the one actor who
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin's
like
in it.
21 years ago, Josh Brolin.
Young Josh Brolin is in Mimic.
I think I was in the bathroom for whatever happened to his character. He just sort of was like sent back and then he just dropped off the radar. I assume he's super dead.
No, he got super ripped in half.
Yeah, I missed that whole thing.
Oh yeah, because like he found like the egg sacs that the one lady had told the kids to look for.
Yeah.
And then he saw one hanging upside down and was like trying to avoid it and like crawled into another room, was crawling up through a grate and knocked over a table. And then it came and like he's pulling himself up and you see him kind of get yanked back and then blood just sprays up and he kind of gets a glassy look at his eyes and then falls down in the hole.
Okay.
Yeah, he super got ripped in half.
So spoilers, by the way.
Spoiler, Josh Brolin.
Spoilers for a like 30-year-old movie. 21-year-old movie.
Barely able to drink.
97 that movie came out. Guillermo del Toro still doesn't care about just murdering children. You've seen his movies. Child murder, not a problem.
Yeah. Zach, what about you? How was your weekend?
That's fine. Speaking of child murder, no. I saw Vice. I like that.
How was that?
It was good. I still like Big Short better.
Okay.
But Christian Bale, amazing job as Dick Cheney. So had some weird choices as his movies, especially Big Short definitely had some weird things. But it was good overall. I don't think I need to see it again though.
Okay.
And then it snowed Friday here. So I woke up.
And what I heard, fun fact, I heard it was a weird snowstorm.
Because it came
It didn't
up
come from the
south.
Pacific over the Rockies. It came from like the Gulf and like New Mexico north up here.
Yeah, I totally looked up at the clouds and I'm like, this looks like it's coming from a southward direction.
So the reason it was important because we were trying to drive up to the mountains during the storm, but the roads were fine because it wasn't coming from over the Rockies.
Right, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was a wet snow because it didn't even get under freezing until like midnight or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was still enough. It was sticking enough that I was like, man, I don't feel like driving. So I've decided to rewatch Scrubs.
I've been meaning to rewatch that. I need to get Megan to watch it.
It's good. It's a good one. And then
Except the last season.
that doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Nope.
No, med school doesn't count.
Nope.
But yeah, that was basically it. I did a lot of driving on Saturday and Sunday, but I didn't get as many as I wanted. I had a. It was after game night. It was like 11:20, and so I was like, I'll drive for a little while. At around midnight, I get someone going to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, I'll drop this person off, and then I probably won't get someone back, and so then I'll head back home. So I'd get home like around 1 or so.
Mm-hmm.
I did pick up someone who was going to South Highlands Ranch.
Ooh.
So not even like the southern part of Highlands Ranch.
Yeah. That's like almost Colorado Springs.
Yep. And then I tried to get rides from there back up to I ended up getting home at 2:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Not great.
No bueno.
No bueno indeed. But
money.
Yeah. We got Paul introduced to Into the Breach because we kept talking about it on here.
Yes. Into the Breach, still good. I actually have reinstalled it and started poking
Nice.
around back in there.
I think he got it on a Switch, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
And classic Into the Breach, he messaged us and he's just like, so far all I can say is these orange mechs suck. And then I was like,
that's the Rust ones, right?
No, it's maybe.
Okay.
But they're smoke based ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, you gotta play them to actually learn their styles because they're all different. After 10 minutes, he's like, okay, they're growing on me a lot. And it's like, yeah, you just gotta learn how to play them because you play and you're like, I'm trying to do all these things I did before, but it doesn't work. No.
Mm-mm.
So, but it's that's still a good game.
Yeah. Great game.
Yep.
Hasn't really been many updates to it since it came out, like content-wise.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing they did with FTL.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with that like advanced edition later.
Yeah.
That sort of added some new weapons and events and stuff like that. There's not so many events in this as there is in FTL.
No.
But
I mean, you at least have a achievement system thing that you're trying to like unlock all of the mechs. Because I've done everything except for the final mechs that you need to do all the achievements for.
Yes.
And I think I've only done like half of them. So I'm like, oh, this is going to take forever because they're super specific.
The last one was rough.
I have no idea.
Good. Highly recommend.
Mhm.
You would love it. It's
Okay.
definitely like this entire game and how well it does is based off my tactics.
Yeah.
Nothing else. There's no randomness.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides, well, I guess
Well,
there's,
there's
like,
technically randomness in where they decide to attack, but you know everything they're going to do before.
Yep.
And so you can see what you can do to actually anything that gets fucked up is really
Because
your-
you didn't plan
yes
Yeah.
well. Okay.
And you have like a one button
yeah
that lets you go back a turn.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That you can use once.
If only XCOM had that.
I'm sure there's a mod that adds that.
Mm.
I mean, you can play with it if you don't play on hardcore mode, because you can just
Iron-
save scum.
Iron Man
Iron Man mode, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you just save scum.
Yeah.
But right on. Well, let's talk about what board games we've all been playing.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start, and I'll talk about some of what I've played, because then I know some of the stuff I've played you guys have also played. So Wednesday night at game night, I got to play the Estates. Didn't get to finish a full game of it.
Because it's multiple like full games, right?
Yeah, and we didn't even get it. Well, so you can play it as just a one-off single game that takes about 45 minutes.
And then you're like
Or you
loans
can
or
play
whatever.
a series, in which case the money
Yeah.
stays the same. Instead of resetting the money, it carries over from game to game, and then you have a total score at the end.
Gotcha.
We didn't even make it through one whole game.
Aha.
So we were playing a
Were you
five-
filled with chicken?
No, we weren't. We were playing a 5-player game, and
Someone on Twitter, you posted this, and they're like, "Are you having a better time?" And I was like, "Well, he's not playing with me, Jeff,
it was
or Paul."
it was Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd's, and so I was like, so he has to be having a better time than when he played with us.
Yeah, Team Jeff or something he called it.
Yeah.
So
Buzz Jeff, yeah.
overall, it went better than the last time I played it with you guys, because yes, we weren't full of chicken. I played with Mike Jones, the hater himself, Kaiser,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike Jones's girlfriend, Bullseye, and V, supporter of the show.
Yes.
And it definitely was split into like me, Mike Jones, and Kaiser, who were like really kind of into it, and V and Bullseye, who kind of checked out of it. And so we got a little ways into it, and Andrew was like, "Guys, I promised my wife I'd be home like at a reasonable time tonight, and it's rapidly approaching not a reasonable time tonight, so I'm sorry, I really need to bail." And V and Bullseye were like, "We're not really in this game, so we're fine with quitting." And I was like, "Mike Jones?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so we just called it. We didn't even really score it up to see who had won, especially because at that point, like, we hadn't even completed a full row, so it would have literally been a game of who had the least negative score.
Mhm.
But both Mike Jones and Andrew, it was their first time playing. They both really liked it up to that point and want to actually play a full game, especially if they can play with people who are like into it, who know what they're getting into. Like, that was kind of thing. Like, V and Bullseye definitely didn't quite realize they were getting into a somewhat dry auction game.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of like, why are we auctioning things? What's the point?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I really need to. I clearly need to work on my pitch for this game, because for people who know what they're getting into and like kind of know what to expect from it, my teach is fine because they know what to get. But like trying to get other people into why you care about the auction and why you're doing things and how you can use the auction like to be mean to other players and basically why you should ever care about anything. I need to get better at that part of my teach. But it went pretty well. Like I said, the fact that Mike Jones and Kaiser want to play it again has me on high hopes, especially since we're trying to hopefully get a review of that up here pretty soon. So that might give us a good 5-player game. You know, the three of us and Kaiser and Mike Jones would be a great mix. So
Sounds about right, yeah.
so that was game night. And then up at the condo, I played a ton of games. I'm gonna just briefify these
Because we've talked about them many times before.
Yeah. Megan and I played 4 games of Spirit Island, 2-player. We played like 1 Tuesday night and then 3 on Friday while Jeff was taking a long nap.
3 hours. It's more of a sleep.
Yeah, it was at that point a solid sleep.
Yeah.
But we went 3 for 1 in it, and the one that we lost was easily currently my single most frustrating game of Spirit Island to date. I was playing my favorite spirit, which is Rampant Spread of Green, and I just could not get any power cards that worked with me. And like the reason I picked him is one of his like special abilities is that cards that his presence that gets destroyed, normally that just goes out of the game. He can actually pull that presence back onto the board. And we were playing a scenario where you have to do rituals of fear to like move the fear along. It's not just every so often, every few cards you get a new level. Like you have to do the ritual to advance the levels. And part of the ritual is destroy 3 presence in the land where you do the ritual. And so I wanted to play him because if we're just destroying 3 presence every ritual in a 2-player game, we're going to rapidly hurt ourselves on presence.
Yeah.
So I thought his ability to get a lot of presence out fast and then be able to bring back destroyed presence would be a benefit. But then I just couldn't get any cards that worked with him. And we ended up getting like thoroughly dominated. It was real bad. We were playing on a thematic map and we played, normally it says for a 2-player to do east and west on thematic. We did east and northeast, which has a bunch of desert and like hardly any wetlands. And the wetlands just like those were the 2 cards we pulled like from the level 1, 2, and 3 invader deck. We pulled like 1 wetlands from the 1 and then like one of the wetlands and something else from 2. And we never made it to 3, so I don't know what we pulled from there. But the one that there was the fewest spaces of wasn't in the game, and the ones that there were a ton of spaces of were in the game. So when they invaded or explored or built or whatever, they were doing it fucking everywhere. Yeah. It was rough. The other 3 wins went real well though.
Yeah. I remember waking up from my cold sleep coma and just trying, and then hearing you in the other room, and I'd be like, and then it was like, well, this is a fast action. And then I was like, oh, they're playing Spirit Island.
Yeah.
Back to sleep.
Yeah. But really enjoyed it. I love Spirit Island. It was great. That brings it up to 5 plays in like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like Megan and I have been on a big Spirit Island kick. That game is so good. Like at least for the kind of games me and her like is like heavier, cooperative. Like we like, some people complain that like you end up APing for 10 minutes while you plan out your turns. For like a 2-player couple game, like where we're trying to work together and we're like discussing things.
Yeah.
Especially because when we play it, we don't have time constraints.
Yeah.
We only played 3 games because you took such a long nap. If you'd woken up any earlier, we would have not started a new game and been like, hey, do you want to do something else?
Yeah.
But it just fits our niche so well for what me and her really like in a 2-player game.
Yeah.
Super looking forward to some of the expansion stuff from that Kickstarter back last fall.
Yeah.
Other than that, played 3 games of Spirit Island. Not Spirit Island.
Race.
Just talking
so you
about
played
that.
7 games of Spirit Island.
Played 3 games of Race. I beat Megan in all 3 of them. She was having a pretty tough go of it. One of them was actually close. The other 2 weren't. But basically, like had a little bit of time. We played 1. It went real quick, and it was like as we were kind of piling all the cards back together. Do you want to just play again? Yeah, sure. All right, throw these starting planets away. Deal out 2 new ones. So we're playing with different starting planets, and let's just go again. And we did that 3 times. Had a blast with it. Took like an hour and a half to knock out 3 games, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Plays real quick. Really like Race as again another quick 2-player game. And that was everything I played that I'm going to talk about. I will chime in. Jeff, we can bounce over to you because I know one of the games that we played together.
Indeed. We played Terraforming Mars.
First mention.
And we played with Prelude and the new Colonies expansion.
And we played on the Elysium map.
And on Elysium.
So we used all 3 expansions except for Venus.
Yes, which you don't own.
I do not own Venus.
Yeah. Colonies add some cool stuff. It's these various colonies that are represented by the different resources in the game. And you build a colony on there for like $17, megabucks, and then you send a trade fleet to it with like, what is it, 3 energy, 9 money, or 3 titanium. Yeah. And then you get like the resources on there and then some bonus with like the colonies that you have on there. And then there's a bunch of cards that reference like getting more trade fleets or being able to boost a limit of how much goods you get before you drain it. So like you get like, if it's like 5, 7, 9, you can boost it from 5 to 7, get 7, and then drop the whole thing. And the more colonies that are on there, the higher the low end is, because your colonies kind of boost that up.
Yeah, the colonies go on that track.
Yeah.
And it's a max of 3 colonies per location.
Yeah.
So in a 3-player game, everybody can get 1 colony on every location. If you're playing a 4 or 5-player game, there'd be a little bit more competition for the good locations.
Yeah.
Because there definitely were good and bad locations.
Yeah, like the thermal planet we never went to.
No one colonized.
No, I think
colonized right at the end, and I went to it like once when it got towards the high end because I was like,
'Cause
okay, I'll
you
take
grabbed-
10 heat and
Yeah.
then just immediately bump temperature for a terraforming rating.
Yeah.
Sure.
The energy one was popular because that just gave you like net gain in energy, spend 3 energy, get 10 energy. And then I was running a real heavy energy engine. I had like the physics lab, which you spend 6 energy, get 2 victory points. Did that 6 times.
Yeah,
for the
that's
game.
real nice.
I got it pretty early.
Yeah. There was a lot of really good cards that came out really early.
Doesn't that
in
require a
game.
lot of tags too?
Yeah, it needs science tags, like 4 or 5, and I was science tag heavy.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of Jeff's prelude cards that he got was a wild resource token.
No, that was just but it's not a prelude like starter card. It's just one of the new regular cards from prelude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because there is a prelude starter card that also has a wild tag.
Okay. Yeah. So I started off with like 2 science tags like first thing.
Yeah.
And then I kept getting handed other science ones. And then I got the one that's like every time you play a science tag, you can discard a card, draw a card, and then the AI center just get 2 free cards. And then I ended up with so much money, but I couldn't get expensive enough cards to like blow, which sucks. I was in the end of the game. I was doing like net 0 point moves, like playing the corporate stronghold. And then putting like 2 plants next to it just so I could draw a card so I could blow like the 72 money or something that I had on it.
Yeah. I ended up winning, which at one point it looked like I was going to crush. Like I was going to run away. I funded all 3 of the goals.
Yep.
And we each funded 1 award.
Yeah.
And I was doing really well on a bunch of different areas. And I thought I was going to run away. But then the game kind of stalled out on oceans.
Yeah.
And that allowed you especially to really come back. And even Megan really caught back up with some of her like microbe and animal cards.
Yeah, she had ants and predators. I got pets, of course.
Yeah.
And rails.
Yeah. Got rails real early.
yeah.
1 city on the board. We're building that rail
No, it was
network.
like the volcanic tube city.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's put a railroad in there.
So I got into a tight spot like and it got kind of frustrating towards the end because I was in a good position. I was really trying to push. Like oxygen had pretty much maxed out because we were all crushing plants.
Yeah.
It was like 10-10-9 from plant scores at the end of the game.
Which is probably the most I've seen.
Yeah, almost 30 plant tiles on the board. That's a ton.
Yeah.
And so I was really trying hard to end it. Like that pushed oxygen up. I was going all in on heat, trying to really ramp that up. But ocean cards weren't coming out, so that wasn't going. And as it drug on, I ended up at the end of the game, I had like over 30 titanium sitting in my titanium spot.
Yeah, with
like,
nothing to use it on.
Yeah, and I was like, I've got like 90 money worth of titanium, and I can't get a space card to save my fucking life.
I think both Megan and I were spite drafting those titanium cards out pretty
along
hard.
with the Jupiter tags, which
Yeah.
I also had stuff for.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely took a bunch of like, this isn't useful for me, but Adrian's not getting that.
Yeah. In the end, it ended up like 105, 103, and 92 or something like that. Like
I think it was
me. You were pretty close.
Yeah.
And then Megan was
2 or
like,
3 points behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I lucked out and got a bunch of the ocean cards right at the end. I had like the one that lets you put out like 3 ocean tiles that needs to be over like 0%, like the the Valus Martianus or whatever. That let me put out 3, and then on that map, all of the oceans are clustered, and then I got like 12 money back from just placing ocean tiles, and then I had the ice comet that let me put down another 2. So I got most of those, and then I also had the card where every time you put down anyone puts down an ocean tile, you get 2
algae.
plants.
That was like one of his first 2. That's
one of the best opening card.
His first 2 cards.
Yes.
His first 2 cards were -2 to every card.
The Earth
and that
Catapult.
ocean card.
The Earth Catapult.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I was
it was
like,
like-
I'm not doing anything this turn. I'm putting out Earth Catapult and I pass.
no, 100% makes sense.
Yeah. So the only thing that saved me was the fact that I was able to fund 3 awards and 1 of the milestones.
Yep.
Because otherwise, like I so narrowly won, and the 2 milestones that didn't fund, I would have lost both.
Yeah.
Like I was close on them, but I would have lost both.
And you had a heavy in the like new colonies cards
Yeah.
engine going.
Yeah, because I got early on. I got a card that gave me a second colony fleet. So basically, everybody starts with one colony fleet, and there's one card that will add one extra. And then there's 2 cards, as far as I know of, 2 cards that let you, before you do a trade mission, boost that track like you were talking about, Jeff, and I had both of them.
Yeah.
So I could send my 2 trade fleets to 2 different locations and boost the track twice before I cashed it out, which let me like cash things out really high.
Yeah. It was broken.
Yeah. Megan felt the energy colony was the fact you got 3 energy as a colony bonus.
Yeah,
like everywhere
that
else
seems-
was like 1 of whatever it was, like 1 plant.
It seemed
one
like energy
titanium.
was very low valued for what you were getting.
Yeah, well, because since 3 energy is to ship a trade fleet,
Yeah.
if everybody has a colony on that energy planet, one person takes the trade fleet there, everybody's colony bonus gives them 3 energy, which lets them fund their trade fleets going somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know, it seemed odd.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other colonies that have different resources that we
Yeah.
didn't use. And
So the rules for colonies is that you play with the number of players plus 2, except for a 2-player game where you just play with 5.
Yeah.
So in 2 and 3 it's 5, and then 6 and 7 in 4 and 5. There are 11 different colonies in the game.
Yeah.
So there's a good mix of it. It's basically one for every possible track that you could ever have in the game. Like one of the 11 I've already pushed aside because it's a Venus only one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good that that's in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought they were just going to be like, "Blip, fuck Venus. We're done with
Oh
Venus."
no, I also had to pull like 10 cards out of the deck that were Venus cards.
Okay.
Like they
It's meant to be
Yeah,
expanded with Venus.
fully, and its rules even like talk about like, oh, if you have Venus, don't forget to do this thing where you still do the 1 boost on one of the 3
one free
tracks.
boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colonies, real good expansion.
Yes. I really liked it.
I would highly recommend.
I would like to play with 4 and 5 because I want to see more of a competition for the colonies.
Yeah.
Because in 3-player, you always knew, like you could kind of sit back and be like, oh, those 2 are actually like that colony's working really well for them. I guess I'll get in on it now.
Yeah.
Whereas in like a 4-player game, there'd be more of a race for that like last spot.
Yeah. The one that's getting real active.
Yeah.
So yeah, Colonies. Good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jeff?
With Zach at game night. I played Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Quedlinburg, yeah.
I'm not sure. Did I talk about that last week?
No.
I
Because you played it on Tuesday.
I played on Tuesday. That's right.
So literally the day before that we played it.
Yes. I was trying to remember which Tuesday game night it was. So I played the 2-player one and was super impressed, and then was like, "Hey, this game's real good. It's weird that it won that whole award thing." And then
Which it won the Kennerspiel.
yes. And then Lance was at the Wednesday night game night, and I was like, "Hey, did you bring Quacks?" And I was like, "Yes." And that was
Then you punched him and stole it, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Because it's not very affordably available right now. I don't think. Yeah.
I think it's just coming out if it is.
Yeah.
So.
So then I got you and Bob, and we played Quacks.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Which is a push your luck bag building-esque game.
Comes with good bags.
Yes, it does. You're all witches trying to brew potions, and so you have all these different ingredients and stuff that you can throw in that, and also 8 of, what are they called? Just fungus? The white?
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
like a white fungus or something like that. And
It's like weird
it's,
poisony stuff.
yeah, and it's like Mystic Vale when you're doing the harvest at the beginning, because you can spoil yourself, because if you ever get, because each of the tokens have a number between 1 and 4 on there. And for white, it's 1, 2, or 3. Well, I mean, 4 in total.
In general, yeah.
In general, it's 1 through 4. But the white ones can go 1, 2, or 3. And if you ever get 8 value from the total of the white fungus, you spoil, basically, or whatever they call it in this. You're putting all these down and you're trying to get, because your own chamber pot, whatever, well, not chamber pot, that's something else. Cauldron.
Cauldron.
That's a better word for it. Your cauldron has a value of like 1 to 35 that you're as you're placing your different ingredients, that increases the value, because whenever you stop, you get to do a purchasing value to whatever the next uncovered number is. So if it's like 10, you get 10 purchasing, or if it's 25, you get 25 purchasing.
Yeah.
And there's also victory points you can get if you don't spoil. But if you do spoil, you get to either buy or get the victory points.
Yep. And then there's rubies that can be on the spots. And
Yep. After everybody is done pushing their luck, then you get all your rewards, which, like I said, is the purchasing power, the victory points, the rubies, any special effects that your different potion ingredients have, and then you can buy.
Because it can be like, if this piece is like last or second to last, you get like a an extra ruby.
Yeah. Or if you have a certain amount, you get to upgrade ones, or if you have more of these than other people, you get to increase what your potion starts at. And,
your base.
Yeah, your base. And then you basically play for 9 rounds, I think you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a little tracker in the middle that unlocks certain ingredients as the game goes on. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I definitely agree with Jeff.
A huge variability.
Yes.
Like every ingredient.
Because there's 7 ingredients.
Yep. The pumpkin is just a base ingredient. There's nothing special about it. And then the black ingredient has like a 2-player variant and then a like 3 and 4-player variant.
But the other 5 have 2 different sides to each thing, and then there are also 2 different tiles. So you have a common like up to 4 different things. So and they all do pretty different.
Yeah, very
powers.
very different.
So
yep.
And then there's also like an event that happens the beginning of each round
like
that can change.
Fortune teller or something like that.
It's either like, here, you get this, or at the end of the round, these things are worth the most, or if just certain requirements, it gets you extra things. And it has a I would say pretty significant
catch-up mechanic. Yeah.
Except that Bob, who was in first the entire game, still was first at the end of the game.
Yes. Probably helped that he didn't like spoil.
Yeah, he did not spoil nearly as often as you and me did.
Yeah. It basically gives you boost to your, like where your potion starts. So like you throw in rat tails, and like there's these little lines of rats on the victory point tracker that you will then count up and be like, I go forward 3. So that's just sort of a little extra boost to all of your potion for the next round.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like ruby powers at the bottom of the pots.
Because it's sort of an advanced version, which I don't know why you wouldn't just play with that.
Yeah, just play with it. It's fine. You can see like little free resources for like change it in rubies and stuff like that.
But yeah, we both enjoyed it. It honestly doesn't feel that much more complicated than Azul. So the fact that Azul won regular one versus this one in Kinner, I was like, it didn't feel that much more difficult.
Yeah.
So
Quacks. I want Quacks.
Yeah.
I really want to try it. You guys have talked it up, and I'm Omni gamer enough that I feel like I can find something, and it tends to be like the spiel stuff I tend to kind of like. I don't know, the drawing from the bag. Like, there's other games I like where like I can tolerate that level of like randomness in a game.
It's still randomness, but you still are like, motherfucker, I drew that, even though it's like it doesn't matter. I don't know which one I'm drawing.
But you still like. I don't know. You like know the odds, and they're like they're a fixed set of like changing out. Like as you draw bad things,
also you can
choose
you can choose to stop at any time too. So you can be like, no, there's definitely a point where I was like, it's a 20% chance, I'll take it. It's 4 out of 7 chance of me grabbing one of these. Nope, not doing it at all.
Yeah. So I like push your luck type stuff. I also appreciate how you said, oh, it's a 20% chance, I'll take it, which is 1 in 5.
Yeah.
And then 4 out of 7. Which is over 50%. You're like, no thanks.
Yeah.
And there is a nice like it's not quite a like emergency. Oh, I'm spoiling. I need to put this back in the bag. But like if you draw that 3 really early, you have like a little potion thing that you can flip to throw it back in there and redraw.
Yeah.
But if you spoiled because of that draw, you cannot use it. I like that little mechanic.
Yeah, no,
it's not like because everyone's just going to use it when they spoil. You have to like think about when you're going to use it instead of just always using it.
Yeah. The cardboard components were really great.
Yeah.
Like all the little punch outs. It like for each of the tiles, the little books that spell out what it could just look like a rectangular, a rectangular punch out.
Yeah.
But it's actually
shaped like a book.
It's shaped like a book that's opened up. And
what had a book shaped meeple that we had too hard of a time trying to figure out what it was? Was that Argent the Consortium or something?
Was that
I don't remember.
hardback?
No, I haven't played that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, these are good.
Yep. But yeah, that was Quacks was good.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Quacks is good.
Right on. Zach, anything else for you?
Played Pandemic, Fall of Rome again. Andrew and I got crushed this time. So
I think at the end you had 1 alliance?
We had 1 alliance, and it's with the easiest tribe to make an alliance with.
Okay.
We were playing with a new person, and so I definitely felt there sometimes, and they're making a decision. I was like, I don't know if that'll be the best or not, but obviously it was on his turn, so I'm not going to try and make him do
quarterback.
Anything. Yeah, exactly. But so it's good that we didn't just we wiped the face of the game. We wiped it. We destroyed it when we were playing it wrong, and when we played it right the second time, we won 60-40 sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
it was a definitely a win, but it was definitely some times when we're like, I don't know about this.
tight.
Yeah, this one, no, it was
All face crushing.
all face crushing.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else I did. Yeah, that was pretty much the only things of note for from a gaming perspective. I mean, we did some more Just One, and Paul kept fucking up his clues again. So
That'll happen.
yeah,
Right on. Kind of wraps it all up.
yes,
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have a bloody minute?
I sure do. I played a postseason game.
Oh dear. Well, also, do you have an update maybe on the championship?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because that's why we were all playing.
Okay.
So Ant and Paul were in the championship. They played. I played David T in a just a postseason game. And then Rich and another gentleman, I can't remember his name. I haven't played him. He's part of the league, but he wasn't in my bracket. We're playing another game. Ant and Paul wanted to play up front, and we had all started setting up in back. So they're just like, let's go up by the front door. So the whole reason we were there was to watch them play, and then they went and played up in front, which was good.
Rude.
Because then we didn't have to hear the nightmare game that they had. Paul was reminded that Blood Bowl is a dice game. You can mitigate as much as you want, but as hard as you can, Nuffle will fuck you. And Ant and Paul both said that was probably the worst dice rolls that they've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah, I know, like, stopping by and talking to them, like, towards the tail end of it, like, well, I got there a little bit late because I had to drop Megan off to work. And Paul was, like, because I stopped by, I was like, oh, you guys are still playing? And Paul was like, yeah, we started late. Like, real brusque. And I was like, oh, I bet I know who's winning. And I just kind of walked away and went and talked to people. Then when it got over, Ant came by and talked to me. He's like, Paul just got so dice fucked.
Yeah.
Like, even later on, people were like, oh, congrats, Ant, for winning. He was like, I didn't win.
No.
Paul lost because of bad rolls.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that Ant wasn't able to gloat or, like, really take any kind of, like, joy in that victory.
Yeah.
like he did at Game Lounge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He got so excited at Game Lounge.
So like Paul rolled a triple skull, which I don't think I've ever seen before. That's throwing 3 ones on 3d6, which it's possible, but rare.
Very rare, yeah.
And especially because you can just sort of choose whatever you want on there. And yeah, that was bad. It was real bad. And then Ant won his 4th championship. He won the first 3 seasons.
Wait, of the league?
Of the league.
Oh.
He won the first 3 seasons. Phil won 2 after that, straight in a row, and then Ant has won this one. So there's only ever been...
Phil won 3 in a row, didn't he?
I think it was 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because he didn't go this year. Because he won with the rats last year and then the dwarves. Maybe it would... You know what? I think it is 3. This is number 7.
Yeah.
So it's 3 for Ant, 3 for Phil, and then back to Ant.
So basically, there's only been 2 winners so far.
Yep.
So like... most championships and shit like that. Yeah, there's a lot of teams, but there's only like 5 or 6 that ever really win.
My postseason game was against David T. We got the new pitches, the new Carrick Ignore League.
The ones made by Matt, right? Or
designed, yeah. So it's like a puzzle board. It's got our logo and stuff on there. They're super cool. I've always wanted like a nice puzzle board. I've just been using like the GW boards.
Now you have most of one.
Yes, it came pre-broke, unfortunately. One of the little puzzle pieces broke off as I pulled it out. As I pulled it out of the bag, it was a broken piece in the bag, which is fine. It wasn't on the... It's a piece that's not even on the pitch. It's just sort of on the side, and it's not where any text really is. But the board's nice because it has like the pass thing on there, the casualty table, kickoff table, et cetera, et cetera. It's always nice to see those at a glance instead of having to look it up.
Real quick, roughly, I looked it up. There's roughly a 1 in 275 chance of rolling 3 ones.
Yeah. And being able to roll 3 block dice at all in Blood Bowl is also pretty rare.
Yes.
Because you need double strength plus 1.
Sorry, 216. 1 in 216 to be
1 in
exact.
216. Yeah. So he rolled that, which was bad. So my game against David T was on the new board. It was Orcs on Lizardmen. I had a miss next game Saurus from my previous game with my chainsaw blitz on that Minotaur. This game I took a chainsaw to bribe again because it was a high armor team, and I was just like, yeah, let's do this. Chainsaw did poorly the whole game. And I emphasized the whole game because he made it through both halves.
Which, how does he usually get kicked out of the game?
He usually eats his own chainsaw. But, but at the half...
If he isn't hungry, if he's already full, he's already had... Yeah.
So at the half, he gets kicked out for secret weapon. It depends on who received. I received, so usually I would score on my 8 or previous, but I had the chainsaw, so I wanted him in the game for as long as possible. I ended up not scoring on turn 1, so I could hit with the chainsaw as much as possible. I let him end the half on his 8, which I then used my bribe, which was the end of the half, keeping the chainsaw in for the second half, which is fairly rare because mostly it's like, hey, score points. But I wanted to murder as much as possible in this one, which he was not doing very well. I mean, he's
on himself or others.
Yes, very dull chainsaw. I got like 1 or 2 real good hits with it, but that were mostly KOs.
Did you guys actually put the chain on there, or is it just that?
Yeah, he's just hitting people with the metal blade. Because when he gets knocked down, you get a +3 to his armor to break, which wasn't happening. When he knocks people down, you get a +3, which wasn't happening. Like, you needed to roll a 7 to break, and I was rolling 6 or lower over and over and over. Because all of his guys are armor 9, of course.
Right.
I even fouled with him once, and I got to break that time because you actually get the plus with the foul.
Right.
But ended up winning 1-0 at the end. With a postseason game, there's no MVP, so I don't think either team got a skill. And we get half winnings. I think I maxed it out. I had fame and I won, so I got 80K, which then went to 40K. I think the postseason game rules will be changing next season because no one really wants to do them because you get full casualty,
but only half. You get half good.
Yeah,
but full bad.
Yeah,
which is sucky.
Yeah, and then all the championship people get full everything, so they might get some advantage. I don't know, but I think Ant's trying to think of a better way to do some postseason, or just turn the postseason games into just regular matches.
Yeah.
Which is probably what will happen.
I mean, he's about to get a spot, hopefully, maybe on the NAF, right?
Yeah, he's going to be like the NAF someone or another president of tournament organization, or like.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, unopposed, but
but still.
So it's apparently something he took over doing.
Yes.
Like midway through last year.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get any credit for it, and now he'll actually get credit and officially be listed and recognized for the work he's putting in, which is awesome.
And it's actually a vote, so go vote for Ant on the NAF.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll post when votes open.
Yeah,
you do have to be a member of the NAF, which is like $25 a year, but I
assume all of you Blood Bowlers are already NAF members.
Correct. If we're in a tournament, we can register for the NAF through Ant before that. Or we register ourselves or something. Well, he used to register us there, and it was too much of a pain in the ass, so he stopped doing that, rightfully so. And so we have to be pre-registered because even if one person is NAF registered and their opponent isn't, the game doesn't count for official rankings. Ooh. So everyone really needs to be NAF membershiped. Yeah. So he's
I think he even had a dummy one for if ever I went to play. Just
yeah. Just so other people's matches would count.
Exactly.
So yeah, he's going to be full on official Blood Bowler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congrats to him on a soon unopposed victory.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, Jeff. I think you've got what it takes.
Nope. I do not have the time that it takes.
So that wraps up everything we've been playing and what we've been up to, which brings us to another quick little look back segment. It's been a few episodes since we did one. We got another few games piled up from our post review cycle, and so we're gonna
some appropriate for news coming up.
Yeah,
indeed.
Right. Yeah, we figured, or we just finished what we were looking at now. Shit that we've been doing before we look to the future with news and Kickstarters. Now it's time to look into the past.
Yes,
a brief look back
in the look back machine.
There we go.
So first up on the Look Back machine, Feast for Odin from December 14th, 2016. I have not played it since we reviewed it.
Same here, and for the most part, basically until the expansion, like the new expansion that's going to be coming out at some point, I was like, I don't care. Like, I know they released some like small little island ones or whatever.
Variability.
My problem was always with the board. And action selection, and it seems like they're actually trying to fix that part now so I would be willing to try it again with said expansion.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so we'll be talking about the expansion shortly. I don't think I've played it since then. If I have, it's only been once or twice. I mean, it's been like 2 years.
I think you did it a couple times solo, because I know you still like the solo mode of it.
Yeah, and that was always my biggest problem with Feast for Odin is that it is tightest as a solo game, which looks to be changing. Like I said, we will be talking here shortly about the upcoming expansion for it, and that seems to fix a lot of that. But yeah, if I've played it after, I did not play it much, and it was probably only solo.
Yeah.
So has not come back around a whole lot. It's still on my shelf. I still have fond memories of it. I didn't hate Feast for Odin. I just, Uwe has been getting broad of late. And
hasn't he started playing games with his kids more? Or something like that? I don't.
He's such a like mysterious figure. He's like Vlada Chvátil. Like nobody's actually sure he even exists. Could just be a pen name.
Ghost board game writer.
Yeah, so I don't actually have a good answer for that, Zach. Maybe he has. Like how The Rock did a bunch of really shitty kid movies for a while because he wanted to make movies his kids could go see. That's like why The Rock did like Tooth Fairy and Magic Mountain.
Are you trying to tell me that The Tooth Fairy is a bad movie?
Yes, I am. Yeah, so that's Feast for Odin. We haven't really nothing of note since then. I am looking forward to the expansion.
I still have not built the insert that I got with Gloomhaven insert.
So now you have an out of date,
and I also own it. Yeah.
You have an out of date insert now.
Now it's not going to fit the expansion.
So obviously you don't need to build it.
No, just throw it in the garbage.
You should. You know what? You should have. I'm sure Broken Token had it on sale. You should have bought it again then, because that would have clued you in that they're coming out with the expansion.
When I know there's a good sale, there's a better version around the corner.
Yep.
Next up is Great Western Trail from December 21st, 2016.
My only update on this game is that about a year ago, so this was 2 years ago we reviewed it. About a year ago, I got a BGG message where somebody's like, I saw you rated this a 5. Would you be willing to trade or sell it? And I was like, no, because I really want to play it again and give it another chance. A year later, I have still not played it again or given it another chance. I don't think any of us really liked it. By the time we got, like, most of our plays ended up being at game night, and it drags.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not playing in the right environment, it bogs down real quick, real prone to some AP for some weird reason. I don't know.
It's probably the multiple routes you can take at all times.
It does have a new expansion that I've heard is really good.
Yeah.
I know Heavy Cardboard just did a video on it fairly recently out of their new Boston HQ. I haven't watched it, so I don't know if it was good, but I've heard people speak well of the expansion. But I did not like it, the base Great Western Trail, enough to go buy the expansion.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Next up, Mystic Vale from January 4th, 2017. Mystic Vale, I have played Mystic Vale on multiple occasions since we reviewed it.
Yes, both of us have. Yeah. Anytime you get new expansions, let's burst it,
break it
out again.
Which I have all of them,
including the ridiculous big box expansion that was no,
which has been the most disappointing of them all, because it's like, all right, here's this big box and here's a bunch of dividers that you can separate it out by expansion, but there's no way to tell what any of the expansions are because there's no expansion symbols, and
which is so dumb.
Yeah, it's
so easy to make just a small little mark in a corner.
Yeah, so you have to do it by name.
Gross.
Yeah. Still good though. Like the leaders added a lot of cool stuff. The variable spoil tokens.
Yeah, I think those are the two best things they added.
Amulets.
Yeah, and then also the eclipse symbol or whatever that lets you build stuff over other cards.
Yeah, that was one of the earlier expansions.
Yeah,
I think
it wasn't the first one. It wasn't the redundant one. It was the other one.
And the latest expansion added a bunch of like negative victory point tokens or something like that into it, like some night stuff. And then the Conclave added like the day and night side, where if like you're playing a big multiplayer game of it.
Yeah, you can play up to 6 people.
Yeah, but you have 2 different card tableaus you can buy from. So the day person is buying and the night person is buying. So you're constantly having 2 people going instead of waiting for your like turn or like.
Which similar mechanic that like Catan did for their 5 and 6 player expansions.
Yeah.
I have not played any of the new expansions. I'm pretty sure I've played base game since the review.
Yeah.
Because I do like Mystic Vale. I've really wanted to play some of your expansions. I just haven't ever actually gotten a chance to.
Yeah,
I don't own any. I own, I think the first one, the like Mystic Vale, Veil of Magic.
Yeah.
The one that we super mocked the bullshit dumb name of.
Yes.
Like I said, a redundant one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get I have all the expansion. I have all the games sitting there with Conclave. I just need to go through and get all of them separated out. But that's a task that I have not wanted to spend multiple hours on currently. So there they sit.
Yeah. You got better things to do now.
Yeah. Next up, we had a triple look back at 2-player asymmetric, or not even asymmetric.
I think it was like abstract strategy or something like that.
2-player abstract strategy with Santorini, Patchwork, and Druids. Santorini had that app come out.
Yes, it did. And I've been playing that. That works good. But I haven't. I've seen Santorini around.
I also have seen it around.
I haven't seen it around in a while though.
The last couple weeks, I think I saw someone playing it.
Huh. I must have missed it.
Especially when it was the I think what Target sells it or something like that without the
golden fleece.
Yeah. So it's a lot cheaper.
And they adjusted like the
it doesn't
base,
it doesn't have
or
that
it doesn't have the base at all. So it's a smaller, thinner box and much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is the plastic minis?
Yes.
Plastic building stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The important stuff.
Yeah. That Santorini's probably still good.
Mm-hmm. It's yeah.
I mean, I think all three of these are still good. I haven't really played any of them. The only person I ever found who was excited about Druids was Megan, and we just have so many other 2-player games
that you'd rather play.
It's like a good game in a sea of good 2-player games for us.
Yeah.
So we haven't really gotten back to that one. Patchwork has an app now as well. I haven't played it.
I mean, it's been there for a while.
Oh yeah, they had it when we did the review. Actually,
but
that's right.
What
Zach
changed?
Played the crap out of it.
Yeah, but what changed is they changed it to. They made the hard AI super hard, and then it was just like, well, this isn't as fun now.
It's a challenge now. Yeah. That's not enjoyable.
No.
And then they have all those different variants that they announced / released.
Yeah.
Is there an XL version?
No. It's so there's Patchwork Express, which is like the sort of kiddie one.
Yeah.
Or and then Patchwork Extreme, which is coming out sometime this year, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Express is already out.
Yes, I remember seeing Express at Gen Con, I think.
It's at like Black and Red and stuff like that. So
Extreme might be cool.
Yeah.
And Druids is a game that was a one-off and no one will ever see ever again.
It was such a niche, weird game that it's like the fact we even had it was kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
And like we reviewed it and Grant reached out to us about because we talked about like wanting wood etched of one of the other things. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll totally do that for you. And I got sent him shipping information and talked to him a whole bunch. And we've covered other games of his that were weird one-off games and he still never followed up. So I'm a little disappointed. I don't think he actually listens to the show. I'll be shocked if he does, but if so, Grant, I'm still waiting for my wood-etched cards for Druids, man. Yeah.
Last up on our look back machine, we have Race / Roll for the Galaxy from January 18th, 2017.
So
I have never played Roll since we played Roll.
I have not played Roll since we've played Roll.
You still own Roll?
I've never owned Roll.
Oh. Who owned Roll?
I did.
You did. That's
and
what
then
it was.
and then we played Terraforming Mars,
and
then I was like
gone.
Yeah, I think you donated it to last year's raffle.
Yeah,
because we reviewed it on January 16th, and then I'm pretty sure you were like, "Put this in the raffle." That was like on the 20th.
Yeah.
No, I still stand by for me at least. Once I played Terraforming Mars and its engine building, I was like, I don't care about Race or Roll anymore.
Yeah.
I still really have a place for Race, obviously, in the Banter section. I talked about, like, Megan and I played it 3 times this weekend. I can play 3 games of Race, a 2-player, in the time it takes to play 1 game of Terraforming Mars. So that's where Race still has an edge over Terraforming Mars. Roll just never really super clicked with me. Like, typically when you see something, the dice game, it's a simplified, shortened, quicker version, and Roll really isn't. It's like Race, but with dice instead of card draws.
Yeah.
And so they're similar.
I remember, I feel they were better about iconography. I feel like it was easier to get into as a newer person, maybe, but yeah.
I could see that still, but yeah. Have not played Roll, have continued and will continue to play Race. I love Race.
Just as a 2-player or?
Mostly as a 2-player.
Okay.
I'm not super keen to introduce it to new players, even with Jumpstart. Like, I don't really want to, like, Jumpstart's too boring for me, so I don't want to be like, here, let's play Jumpstart so you can learn some of this bullshit. Like, I'm always just like, I want to play Race. You don't know Race? Maybe we won't play Race.
I don't want to play games with you.
Yeah. If it was like 3 players, like if it was Megan and I and one other person, sure. Like, I'll walk one person through Race. I've long since gotten past like the one fateful game night where I was like, oh, you 4 want to learn Race for the Galaxy? Sure. I'll teach all 4 of you in a 5-player game of Race for the Galaxy. No, that's never happening again. But do still really like race.
Still dense and hard to learn.
Yeah. I know there's like a new race board game coming out pretty soon too.
I
that
think
we
it
talked about
is.
recently.
Frontiers or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be interested in that, and we'll see how that adds up, into that race roll board thing.
Yes.
That universe they're building.
Yes.
So
That's
yeah.
it for looking back at things through a machine
Yeah. Some might call it a look back machine.
or a spreadsheet.
Don't let them see behind the curtain.
At least you didn't tell them that we were using Google Sheets.
Yeah.
God damn it, Zach. God damn it.
Not made out of money. Can't just get Excel.
Licenses.
Yeah.
So expensive.
Very, very true.
Anyway, on to some news and Kickstarter.
First up in news, we have that thing we mentioned earlier, the Feast for Odin expansion called the Norwegians. I think we've talked about this in the past about announcements, etc.
But now we have
Details.
Hot
details.
deets.
We got them deets.
Yeah. So there are two things that really interest/excite me about the Norwegians expansion. So first up, they completely replaced the player boards from the base game with the Norwegians expansion.
So what we had originally expected was like more,
Yes.
but now replace, which has made me much more excited.
Yes. Especially because the replacement alters what actions are available at different player counts. So at 2, there are much less actions, whereas you need to play like 4 to get the full everything in the game again. Because that was always one of the biggest complaints, was that the solo variant was the most tight, constrained version of the game, and the more players you added, it didn't really scale well.
Yeah, it has it's 3 double-sided boards, and you flip them over depending on how many people you're playing with. So
Well, it reminds me more of like how Caverna does their
yes,
selection.
And
Agricola
Agricola did that as
too,
well.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is really exciting to me. The other thing that's really exciting to me about this is a new mechanic where if you have if you take an action that lets you play an occupation card, you can instead just discard an occupation card to take a token worth 2, 3, or 4 points. The 3s and 4s are limited, so the earlier you do that, the better. But at a minimum, you'll be able to turn a junk occupation into at least 2 points. Which
and those are those separate little sideboard tiles.
no, the
Right?
cards.
Cards. Oh, yeah.
That was
yeah.
a blind card draw
Yes.
that so many people house ruled
Yeah.
into like a draw 3, pick 1.
Yep.
Because the blind card draws could so fuck you in that game.
Yeah.
So this at least gives you a way without using a house rule, draw 3, pick 1. This is a actual mechanical in-game reason that like, oh, this one's no good. I'll just cash it in for points instead of actually playing it for whatever thing it does that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah. I was referencing the new like artisan tiles.
Yes, which those are interesting. They're not, like I was going over the two things that excited me the most about this.
Yeah.
The artisan tiles are really neat. So instead of just getting like the starter generic hut, now you get like an artisan hut that has a unique kind of layout and that will give unique rewards. So like you might have a forge where you're trying to supply ore, or a whaling hut where you need to actually get them a whaling boat. Different things like that will fill in and ultimately earn you different rewards. So it makes it a little bit, I hesitate to say asymmetric, but definitely a little bit of variability in what everybody's doing for their sideboards initially.
Yeah. Because I remember us not really doing much of the sideboard stuff because they kind of distracted from your core. But with these new action selection things, that might make those much more attractive. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. This should be available right now from local retailers or website of choice.
Yeah.
If you are interested in expanding some Feast for Odin, which I am.
As am I. Excited for it not to be able to fit in the insert.
I'm sure.
No doubt.
Next up in news, now that Fireball Island's out there, they're coming out with a next in line for their old games, making them new again.
They being Restoration Games.
Yes.
Yes. Whose entire thing is taking old games and making them new. So they just announced that Conspiracy, the Solomon Gambit, will be coming out later this year. essentially, it's a remake of the 1973 game Conspiracy by Dr. Eric Solomon, which is where the Solomon Gambit, like they're giving a little homage there to him. But it's a luckless semi-co-op pile on the leader game where you are all trying to control spies moving around a board, carrying vital information, and you're trying to get it back to your base. And so you can spend bribes to say, like, I'm controlling this spy. And if there's ever disagreement over who controls what spy, you look at who bribed the most, and they're the one who controls it. They're keeping all of that gameplay while adding some special agent effects so the agents will be more unique, and a new endgame mechanic that'll hopefully cause a more dynamic experience.
They also decreased the number of agents from 8 to 6, which is apparently supposed to help increase player interaction. And then they added train stations to help for easier movement.
Right on.
Was apparently nominated for Spiel des Jahres in 91 as well.
Yes. The Amigo edition.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That was probably the most recent print, I would assume.
I would guess.
Yeah.
Also, notably, this will not be a Kickstarter. It's just straight up coming out in summer.
Yeah. I think that's going to be mainly for their big ones like Fireball Island, and then probably Dark Tower whenever that comes out next year.
Yeah, Dark Tower definitely going to be one.
Like the weird ones that require a lot more production behind them.
Like this, or Indulgence, or Dinosaur Tea Party. They're not, like even Downforce, I don't think it got it. So, yeah, any of the small to medium-sized boxes, but those big old boxes.
Yeah.
A lot of shit in there.
Gonna need a Kickstarter for that.
Yep.
But yeah, so if you've been like, man, I wish somebody would remake that game from the 70s, you're in luck because that's what restoration does.
Yep. Very exciting. Next up in news, how did you put this one, Adrian? The block of...
So this is the Wolfgang Warsch announces a bunch of new games section of news. So first of all, there is a brand new game from Wolfgang Warsch that is called The Tavern of the Deep Valley. Die Tavernen im Tiefenthal. Tavern of the Deep Valley.
That looks right.
Yeah. It's his newest game. It is a 2 to 4 player 60-minute game where you are trying to build an expanded tavern to hopefully attract wealthy patrons to earn a bunch of money. The interesting thing about this is that it has 5 different modules that allow each player to set their own desired level of difficulty, which sounds like that would be something that'd be really good for making a game that introducing to new players, they could pick an easier difficulty, whereas you as an experienced can kind of handicap yourself while still having fun and engaging gameplay.
Yeah.
But overall, not a whole lot of information about it currently. It'll be coming out from Schmidt Spiel. Additionally, there is Doppelt so clever.
Which is double so clever.
Yes.
A sequel to Ganz schon clever.
Yeah, which is
pretty darn clever.
Yep.
Yes. It's basically the same game, just with some small tweaks.
I don't know.
I mean,
that.
For the resolution, like the actual board itself is, it has 6 different dice, basically, that have all new
actions,
interactions.
stuff.
And then they added another action that you can get from, instead of just the reroll a die and choose an extra die, which I think we were saying it looked like it was going to be like use the opposite face of or something like that.
Yeah. The symbol.
Yeah.
But the whole board is different. Can't really tell what any of this means, except like you're going from like low to high on one of them. And then there's one with like a lot of multipliers. Yeah.
Yeah, I more meant the core gameplay of like
roll
3.
Roll all of them.
Roll all of
choose
them,
one. Get rid of everything underneath. Yes, that is all there. But the game that you play with that mechanic seems to be
a little bit different.
Quite different.
Yeah. But hopefully it's easy to just print and laminate and then play with the same dice that Zach already made his bootleg copy with.
Just need to find some pink and lime green.
I mean, I'm sure I could find those easy enough.
Yeah. And then because Wolfgang Warsch so hot right now.
So hot.
Wrapping up here, the game you guys talked about in your What Have We Been Playing segment, the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
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 Yep.
Is getting an expansion.
Yes.
Die Krauterhexen.
The herb witches.
Yes.
It's going to add like individual player powers, I think, because you're going to get like a witch card.
I think something like that. It also had a 5th player too.
Yeah. Bonus for a 5th player, and then special, what do they call them here?
It looks like they're adding a new pumpkin too, like a big pumpkin.
And not a lot of details.
Not a lot, and a lot of said details are in German. So
yeah, that's definitely what I was reading earlier. But it seems like all the witches have like special powers, but they might be off to the side.
yeah, it just says 5th player, more ingredient books, a new fool's herb, and the introduction of herbal witches for more variety. So,
which I know Shut Up and Sit Down and mentioned they thought that might be like some kind of option for like less risk, less reward instead of the like super ridiculous pulls from the bag.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, expansion coming out for the game that we played.
Yeah.
And like,
turns out when you win a Spiel des Jahres, people want to do all kinds of things with all of your games.
Yeah. Next up and last up in news, Fantasy Flight announced a new game, Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle-earth.
Pass.
Zach immediately fell asleep.
Yeah.
As soon as he saw Middle-earth.
No, I heard it got announced, and I was like, all right, I'm going to throw that on there, but not actually look at the link at all.
Yeah. So this seems to be dungeon crawl, app-based co-op board game in the vein of Descent or Imperial Assault.
Yes.
Yeah.
And their like page on fantasyflightgames.com super misuses, I feel, the term unique
Yeah.
a lot in the description of this. Like they're about all of the 6 heroes being utterly unique, which really means that every copy of the game has 6 different heroes, but they're like Gimli and Bilbo. They're all the core heroes of Lord of the Rings. Like, which I'm not sure how they're going to work that into following.
I think it's that the 6 heroes are unique from each other.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say it. Like, I feel like, I don't know, something about the way they phrased that
yeah, I mean,
seems off.
they're technically right.
Yeah. I also, like, as somebody who really hates what, like, Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter have kind of, like, some of those, like, big fantasy epics that have gotten all these branching, like, movies and games, video games and board games and yada yada.
I think the Hobbit trilogy really tamped down the Lord of the Rings, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I hate all these things that, like,
It just made people realize the actual quality of the material.
The Hobbit movies were bad. I agree.
yeah, because you shouldn't turn a short children's adventure book into a 3-movie, 6-hour, 7-hour epic adventure.
Correct.
Yep.
That's not what it was ever supposed to be.
No.
But
It's for the people that are like, man, they keep cutting out shit in my movies. It's like, yeah, we'll just throw shit in there now. And then also more stuff too.
Yeah.
Did you want a nonsensical romance in your epic fantasy movie? Here we go. But no, like things like this, like I don't understand how you're going to be playing as these characters in these branching different campaigns that aren't going to fuck with the lore of Lord of the Rings. And like Lord of the Rings is one of the things for me that I've got a lore and it exists. Like Imperial Assault worked because you weren't ever like Luke might show up briefly and it's like, okay, it's conceivable that in between the movies he did this mission with us. In this, it seems like your characters that you play are the main characters from the Lord of the Rings franchise. And it's like, so all of this shit just either I'm replaying Lord of the Rings, the storyline, in which case I already know how that story goes, or I'm doing a bunch of shit outside of that story, in which case, how does that fit the continuity and lore? I'm getting bogged down in a way I know I shouldn't, but it's happening. And it's happening entirely because I did it with Lord of the Rings. So I have a very meh reaction to this game, just a different meh reaction than Zach. Our mehs come from two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I feel...
0 interest to too much interest in the theme.
Yes.
I feel this game probably would have been better themed with like the Terranoth stuff, where you can kind of throw whatever their generic fantasy thing is, but I think they're like, oh, we own Lord of the Rings license.
You could have done it with Lord of the Rings and thrown in a dozen different ancillary side characters who could have conceivably had entire separate adventures outside of the main quest. But as soon as you're like, oh...
But, okay, so this is as someone who, like I said, who didn't really care. Were there a lot of other instances of different people of different races coming together to do shit?
not I mean, not that was shown in the books.
Okay, all right.
Like the books were the fellowship coming together.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that kills me is like they've got like a young fucking Bilbo character like right next to Gimli the dwarf, which for those of you who
Gimli is like the son of one of the characters
who
from
originally
The
adventured with
Hobbit.
Bilbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Frodo, Bilbo's nephew, who's much younger than him, went on the fellowship with Gimli. Like, their character choices for this make no fucking sense. Like, there was a conversation in the Slack channel, like, yesterday about cash grabs and sequels and stuff. And when I see the $100, we haven't even talked about the $100 price tag attached to this game. Oh my God, it feels like a Fantasy Flight cash grab. Like, here's a popular IP that we have the rights to. Let's throw some shit together, do some minis and an app, and put it. I want to like this. This game would be one I'd be super interested in. I love Lord of the Rings. I like the app-driven gameplay that Fantasy Flight has done in like Imperial Assault, Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition.
Also, it doesn't look like this has dice too. So
Yeah, if they had put even in a small amount of actual thought into and maybe it's just bad presentation. Maybe they actually did do a good job in the storyline of making this all fit somehow in the lore.
I've been attempting to read through the article to be like, is there anywhere in here that it's
And
like...
there's not.
There's not.
There's not. It really feels like they just said, hey, we have Lord of the Rings. Bilbo's in Lord of the Rings. Gimli's in Lord of the Rings. There's orcs in Lord of the Rings. There's dwarves. There's goblins. There's, whatever the fuck.
But also depends on who the other characters are too, I think. So because they list 2 out of the 6. So they show the minis, but it's like, I don't know. That's probably Legolas. It's always Legolas.
Yeah, it probably is.
I mean, I have no idea who the female-looking elf character is.
Arwen?
I mean, maybe, but again, doesn't necessarily make sense from lore how she joins with the group.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Did Bilbo do any other adventures besides The Hobbit?
No.
Okay.
No, he definitely was the random dude who got caught up in adventure and then told that story for 3 decades to his grandchildren until they hated him for it. Like, that was basically what happened between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, is Bilbo drove everyone away with his stories of The Hobbit, except for Frodo, who was like, man, I'd love to be an adventurer like my granduncle.
And he was rich.
Rumored to be rich.
And super old.
I mean, he was also actually rich, and super
also,
old.
I feel like 3 decades is not... Was it only
No, it was way more.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
It was like nearly 100 years.
I was like, it sounds like you're trying to go from fucking Revenge of the Sith to New Hope in just like 19 years, and you're
it was like 80.
The lightsaber, an ancient weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, continuity in fantasy and sci-fi. Always a problem.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Lord of the Rings Journeys turns into. Hopefully better than first glance.
I'm not holding out hope.
I don't know who'd get it for our group. I mean, it'd have to be you, Adrian.
And it's not going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sort of in too, but it's sort of like, eh.
And we are nowhere near big enough for Fantasy Flight to ever fucking send us anything.
Notice.
So yeah, that's news.
On to Kickstarters. First up in Kickstarter this week, because there are any.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're starting to approach Kickstarter existing again. It basically started Tuesday after we recorded last week.
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter started showing back up.
First up is War of the Worlds.
That sounds familiar.
The Next Wave game. Very well funded, 71.7 thousand of its $10,000 goal, 1,132 backers with a little bit less than 2 weeks left to go. Its most popular pledge being $59. That comes with the playmat.
Well, this is by Gray Fox Games.
Gray Fox Games. Quality games, carefully crafted.
Indeed. Jeff, I believe you had a phone conversation recently with Gray Fox Games.
Yes.
About this game specifically.
Very much so. It's a 2-player asymmetric dudes on a map deck builder, which is every keyword I want in a game.
Yes. We were talking before the show about Zach having keywords lately that kill his interest in things.
He described them as trigger words, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is like the opposite. So
it fully hit Jeff's internal algorithm.
Yes.
It's like all that bullshit that happens on YouTube that they name bad videos, certain things to just get more views and shit like that. It was there for that.
They hit all the keywords.
They hit all your keywords.
Although I wouldn't necessarily compare this to a bad YouTube video that's just using keywords.
No,
Zach.
no.
It's a bad look.
One specific part of it is all I was implying.
Anyway, Jeff, tell us a little bit here about War of the Worlds, the new wave.
Next wave.
New wave.
New wave, not next wave.
Yeah, you've said next wave twice now.
I have said next wave. It's because I wrote it down like that.
Just say new, and then I'll just edit it in.
New.
Yeah, there we go.
The new wave. So this is a sequel to the book. The aliens all died off because of bacteria and stuff before, but now they're back, and now they know that. So humans are in real trouble now. They land in Scotland, and basically you have 30 health on each side. The aliens want to kill 30 civilians, units, and then...
I'm assuming that's more than just literal 30 civilians, because it's like pretty easy for
civilian
them.
tokens out on the board, because
what
the
I
board
figured.
is a huge map of the UK.
They just take out one building and they're just good.
They're done. Success. And then...
They're like, we're done, and they just leave.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that was weird.
And the humans have to try and do 30 damage to the aliens. There's some minis in there, so like the Navy, Army, like tanks, boats, and then the tripods and UFOs for the aliens.
Which the miniatures are all Kickstarter exclusives.
Yes.
It will be standees
Yep.
in the base retail version.
Yep.
There's a couple exclusive promo cards, too.
Yeah, stretch goals are getting unlocked here and there that are adding more cards to the game. I think the base game was going to have like 30 and 30, but now with more promos and stuff getting unlocked, they'll be adding more cards to those decks that you can buy out of. A lot of culling mechanics in this game, which I enjoy greatly.
Any
and my
deck builder needs a good culling.
Yeah.
Just listen to all the deck builders that we didn't like for that same reason, basically.
Yes.
So yeah, you're just building your deck out of like a trench style. There's like a culling out of the trench ability that you have, so you're not stuck with a bunch of real high cost stuff that you can't buy.
Right.
You can always discard through there. There is so this game was previously designed and released in Russia, and they're bringing it over. But there is a new Irish Sea expansion, which adds Ireland onto the map. And the expansion's only like $10, $5.
Yeah.
Little $5 expansion.
Yeah. And if you get the neoprene mat, it comes
includes it.
included.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love a good playmat. So hot right now.
So hot.
And what, $15 for a playmat, too? That's not bad.
Yeah.
No, especially for one that's 20% larger than the board.
Yeah.
The base board.
Hence it being the most popular pledge level currently.
You're right? Yeah.
Yeah. I want this game.
Yeah. The next major stretch goal, they've hit the 70K playboard thickness upgrade. At 100K, civilian tokens are upgraded to custom meeples, which will be a Gray Fox exclusive.
Probably a Kickstarter exclusive, I would say.
Currently, they have it listed as a Gray Fox exclusive, which I think that might actually be how they mark their Kickstarter
Yeah, I
exclusives.
believe that
Never
is.
mind.
Yeah.
Shipping looks pretty reasonable for this, at least for most areas. I'm not really sure what BR is, but they're paying $40 for shipping. For the Invasion and Earth Defender pledges, $50 for Scorched Earth pledge.
BR is probably Brazil.
Okay. I don't know why Brazil's getting really fucked here.
Because it's
South America.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shipping to and from Brazil has always been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Across
Yeah, true.
anything. Like
It's one of the higher ones.
even
in terms-
video
yeah.
games, everything like that is just always crazy.
weird.
Yeah.
Australia, not nearly as fucked as they sometimes are. $20 shipping.
Yeah, there you go.
Only $8 for the U.S. Once again, America proves that it's best at shipping things that are produced in America.
Yeah.
Is it produced in America?
I don't. Probably not. It's
Okay.
probably produced in
It's
China.
probably. Yeah. Art looks good. It's got that real colorful sort of, I don't know. There's color, but it's not just like it's not just World War It's not just World War I dank drab. It's got some flavor in there.
Yes. They do have also, if you want to try it before you buy, there is a direct link to print and play files on Google Drive, as well as it is on Tabletopia.
Yep.
I do like the print and play image they have. It looks like it's printing the entire board
out
out.
of a very generic printer icon. Yeah, no, it's great. I also like how they mention in the cost section here, while we would love to offer free shipping, there's really no such thing.
Mm.
And I think that's a very valuable thing. Like, People nowadays like to throw free onto stuff,
But it's not free.
It's
just
really like
subsidized.
we're just
Yeah.
hiding the costs somewhere else.
Yep.
So we can
Or
tell
they're
you
eating
it's
it.
free,
Yeah.
or they're eating it. And so I like that.
Yeah.
That little their tracker there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really coming together, getting some nice unlocks. I really want to actually play this game because I'm not sure. Like when it was first pitched to me, it was like 2-player Clank with like deck building, or
Area
something.
control.
Area control Clank, and it was like you're hitting all of my like Zach's trigger words. Like you're hitting all of my trigger words, like Clank, area control. What the shit? The more I've learned about it, the more interested I actually have been in it as a 2-player, more deck buildy kind of war game with some asymmetric goals and objectives.
Yeah.
That I think could actually be really interesting.
I think this game's make or break on like how that area control works.
Yeah.
On the map.
So go check it out.
Yeah. If I don't print and play this, I will be definitely playing it at Geekway because it will most certainly be there in May.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next up
is Tsuro Phoenix Rising. Very well funded, 86,000 of its $10,000 goal, just under 1,400 backers, and 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $55 as its most popular option. The Kickstarter exclusive set. Shocker.
So this is celebrating the 10th anniversary of Calliope? I don't actually know how to say that word.
Nor do I.
Games, which they started with Tsuro. That was their first game. It launched their whole brand. And so now 10 years later, they, in celebration of their anniversary, are releasing a new version of Tsuro.
They had like a water dragon one or something like that.
Yeah.
Tsuro the Seas.
Yep.
And so this will be the third in that set.
Yes. And so in this one, the players are all taking on the role of phoenixes who are trying to travel through the air and hit various lanterns that have been lit inside a loft and turn them into stars. Vaguely based off of a mythology that I don't know if they made up or if they have borrowed from somewhere, but it's about a vengeful god that stole all the stars, and then
So it's Katamari.
Sure. And then the people in response to this released a bunch of lanterns, which summoned a bunch of magical phoenixes that flew around, turned all the lanterns back into new stars. So your little token in this one is a phoenix traveling around, and you're trying to collect different lanterns along your path. And the first player to collect 7 of them wins the game. Additionally, because you are playing as phoenixes and you have the magical power of resurrection, you get 1 resurrection per game. So just getting thrown off the board doesn't immediately kick you out of the game in this version of Tsuro. Additionally, the tiles are double-sided, and they also now add like a diagonal option in addition to like the 2 off of each side. So instead of there being 8 options for leaving any given tile, there's now potentially 12 different spots where a line could go on a tile. So
It looks like they have a really cool tray because you can flip tiles now.
Yeah.
So you're not picking up like a tile on a flat surface. They have like a recessed tray that you can kind of poke the corner and easily flip without anything disturbing any other pieces. I think that's really cool.
yeah, definitely. That is one of the few Kickstarter exclusives from this one. There's currently not many. There's a mini expansion for Twilight Portals that let you teleport around the board, and the pawns are all upgraded to like actual Phoenix minis in unique colors that are additional to the pawns. So you'll have 16 colors total that you can use because you'll have the 8 Phoenixes and the 8 pawns.
Yeah. And that all comes in the Kickstarter exclusive set for $55.
Yep.
So you're paying an extra $15 for all that cool stuff.
And there might be a mechanic. I don't know. One of the little like gifts they show a little ways down is that there's a tray that allows you to easily flip and rotate the tiles.
That's what I was talking about.
He was talking about that.
That tray where on the
I
flat
thought
top.
you were talking about the custom PVC like tray that replaces the insert.
No.
I totally misunderstood what you were
Yeah.
actually talking about.
Yeah.
was like, I mean, that's not that fancy.
No,
like, I
it's
don't know how
not.
that really helps
why I
with
wasn't
drawing
mentioning
Yeah,
it.
that's why we weren't talking about
I
it.
was like, I don't know how that like helps. Like, I guess you're drawing them like when they're sideways, so you don't see the double side. Wow.
But he never said that though. That was
I know. I was assuming and making an ass out of me.
Just you.
yeah, yeah.
Not made by Game Trace.
no,
once.
no.
In house.
But yeah, so I've really enjoyed Tsuro. I've had different levels of success teaching it to like completely new people, like as an intro game, because it's a really simple tile laying game.
Well, I think part of its success comes from its simplicity.
Yeah,
I had heard that some people didn't like Tsuro the Seas as much just because it added more.
yeah.
So,
And I feel like it added more, but not enough. Like, so it didn't kick it up into that next layer of like gaming, where like people might want it outside of a really simple tile laying game. This seems like it might be enough extra
gotcha.
that it might actually work. I don't know. We'll see. Next up.
Next up on Kickstarters is Suburbia Collector's Edition. Weird. Super extremely well funded. 220,000 of its 10,000 goal. That's pretty low. 1,869 backers and just under a month left to pledge this one, which you can for $100.
Wow. So this is basically an upgraded version of Suburbia.
Super upgraded, yeah.
Yeah. Zach, you are an actual backer. So
Yes,
how
I
about
am.
you kind of run away with this one?
So it's Suburbia with both expansions and a new expansion and all new fancy components. And I saw some people, basically I sort of view it as like that Ticket to Ride collector's edition that came
Like
out.
the ultra big box or
Yeah.
big map.
Yeah. Which I also have.
I've seen.
Yes. But it's just like, I do like Suburbia. I only have one of the expansions. I don't have two, but it's also, it can be a bear to teach some people that game.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I didn't mind the art on it at all, but it definitely was minimalistic, we'll say.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're doing just a decent amount of like quality of life changes for this. Like the tiles are bigger. There's going to be actual like tokens to help track certain things, so you don't have to be like, oh, I'm looking for airports. How, let me look over here to see what airports you have. Like, there are tokens that are going to be helping for that. It's going to be recessed. They have game trays, obviously.
Yep.
That look really nice. New art too. Like I was saying, I know some people didn't like it as much, but I think it looks pretty good. Some weird things like player cities based around actual cities.
Yeah.
So like Washington D.C., New York,
Themed tile sets.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yes,
Okay.
or Orlando, Barcelona, Dubai, like some of those. I was looking through. I was like, ooh, is there a Denver one by? Oh, there's no Denver one. And then there is going to be, you can choose your own player colors too, apparently, or like different sets of them, which sounds like a fulfillment nightmare.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, you can do the base ones or have more pastel, or you know, say like your favorite color is like an orange. It's not there. They have stuff that have orange and things like that. And then they have different themed tile sets. I think that's what you're saying. They have like I said, the new expansion Nightlife.
A light up first player token.
Yes, that, which is like if you're playing with Nightlife, because you're like, ooh, it's Nightlife.
Yeah.
The tower for dealing out those the tiles with the real estate market and its slidiness. Metal coins, which are going to be Kickstarter only, which look okay, but their money never looked good to begin with, so it does look like an improvement. And then the population board isn't zigzagging anymore, so basically it's just different changes, I think, and I think they all look good, and it's whether or not you feel the need to upgrade Suburbia.
Yeah.
I think if you don't have it and you like the game, then it's like, and you want to just own it all, then it's especially like it's, 99, like you said, and you get all of that shit, which if you try and buy it retail, it's like 80 just, I think, for the base game and both expansions. So adding, less than $20 for all that stuff. Although it is $20 shipping too, which is a bit, but it's also like 15 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of game.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bigger tiles alone are going to add a ton of extra weight.
Really what I think it is that when it got announced, are you interested or are you not? Like, I feel like it's basically one of those two things.
Oh, yeah.
If you know what I mean. It's not like, oh, let's wait and see how this goes, or I try and convince somebody. I feel like for most people, they just had in their gut instinct of first thing that came out, because like there are a decent amount of people in our Slack who are just like, this sounds so stupid.
It's a money grab.
Yeah,
That's where that money grab conversation I mentioned earlier kind of spawned.
It's like, no. I didn't feel like trying to defend the other side on that.
I mean, it's in between. Like, I can see how some people feel like it's a money grab to take, like, this game is proven record of success. Let's bling it out and sell it for more money. But I don't get that vibe from this Kickstarter. I also found it hugely ironic that we were having that entire conversation like 2 days after Ignacy had published a blog post about like, we've entered the one print run era of board games where you can't sell a game on any future print run. It's like, well, you can.
Yeah.
If it's a good game that people like and you bling it out nice.
Yeah.
You can sell special editions out the ass.
Right. But yeah, no, I just feed it as it's them just trying to celebrate a good game.
And that's kind of how I feel. You know, same thing like with that Tsuro one we just talked about. Like, it's that company's 10th anniversary. Tsuro is like their starting game. Like, Suburbia was a huge game for Bezier back in the day.
Yeah.
So
2009, 2007, something like that.
What for what?
The Suburbia original
Suburbia. I don't know.
That was 12.
2012.
Boom.
Zach, right, as always. One day we'll learn to always trust Zach and never trust me, but that will inevitably backfire in a board game where I'm actually trustworthy and Zach will stab you in the back.
Yeah. No, it's like, you just treat me as a person and me as a person in a game, just completely different.
Basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the collector's edition of Suburbia. If you've got some money and want a blinged out version, which I meet one of those two criteria.
Yeah, right.
I want a blinged out version of Suburbia.
Yeah.
I do not have money.
Most can fit B.
Yeah.
Next up in Kickstarters is La Stanza. Just funded $36.5 thousand of its $28.6 thousand goal, 453 backers, and 2 weeks left to go. And you can pledge this one for $68 whole.
So this is the latest game from Nuno and Paulo, the two awesome Portuguese board game designers that I got to hang out with at Liericon while I completely blew off a different Paulo, who has now taken over our YouTube comment section. I know I'm just going to continue to snub because that's what I do.
I'm assuming that's why you're not going to Liericon this year.
Yeah, just so I can continue to snub all of the Paulos. So in La Stanza, you are the game takes place in a 16th century mansion where all the different players are trying to acquire paintings of well-known individuals like Shakespeare, who apparently painted. I didn't actually know that, or Michelangelo, that then give you special actions in one of 5 different rooms. As you get the paintings, that unlocks the different actions, and kind of affects how the game will play out.
Paintings of well-known individuals.
Yes. And then also some people that weren't in Renaissance era too.
That makes more sense.
Yep.
Yes.
Like Paulo and Nuno are in there.
I mean, of course they are.
Yep. They're actually one of the starter paintings that everybody starts off with. They're like 5 different ones that everybody starts off with of each of the different colors. And it's, I was like, hey, it's those two guys. I forgot that they made it.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, that person included them. And I'm like, oh, now I understand why they're in there.
Because we added ourselves to a board game.
As is tradition.
Yes.
I watched part of a playthrough of this, and it seemed pretty interesting. I liked how it's sort of rondel like in how you're going around, but it has that worker placement aspect of like spots being taken up because you can't go into a space that doesn't have a painting there.
Yeah.
So if everybody in like the blue room takes all the paintings from there, that place isn't available to go anymore. But it's not like you have actual workers clogging it up. It's just that action can be taken 3 times, and we took it. And that also determines when each of the round ends too, because you have to 2 of the rooms have to be completely empty for you to have to refill it too. So you can always use that in your decision space if you want it to keep going or not.
Kind of like an interesting like timing.
Yeah. One thing I like too is it's like the yellow room that like you can get different things in it, like different not artifacts, just special things. Then it's whoever has the most at the end of the game gets the most points, and then second most, so forth. Is that the game itself acts as sort of a dummy player in that too. So if nobody, like if you got 1 point, Jeff got 2, and I got 3 points worth of stuff, and the game still has 10, it's gonna get the most. So it's actually taking a part in that. So you can use that to be like, oh, if I end up getting this, maybe I won't increase the amount of points I would get, but then it would bring the game down enough to where like Adrian could get first. And so I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that is a really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
Adds like an extra layer of like decision space. Because a lot of times in games, you get to a point where, especially if you're trying not to king make, it's like, I'm always doing the thing that's best for me.
Yeah.
But this actually really moves it from is it better for me to buy this, which would give me some points, but would take the game below another player, which would bump them into first. So the net gain is worse.
Yeah. And then it has like, because whatever paintings you have, that's what your powers are in that room. And then obviously there are ways to mitigate that. You have the meeples that you can get that let you do other rooms. And depending on which ones you want to keep, it costs different amount of money because it's 5 to 1. So the one on the right, super cheap to get rid of and replace. But then if you keep doing that one, it's like, well, maybe I want to build up on the red or the yellow, so I want to keep that and get rid of the shit I'm not using, which is more expensive.
Yeah,
looks interesting.
Yeah,
I'm definitely interested in it.
Seems like the art quality
is
pretty variable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information here about who the artists and or artist was. So it's a little interesting to me too that this is coming out through Quinn Games, with Nuno and Paulo as the designers, versus I know they had just earlier this year announced that they were fully partnering with What's Your Game. So I don't know, like maybe this was a game they'd been developing through Quinn Games since before that was announced that What's Your Game was actually hiring them on as full-time designers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't really know how that completely worked out in that situation. As another bonus, like for this Kickstarter's, basically all of the different games from Quinn Games, you can add them on as add-ons. So things like Riatia that we talked about, Firenze, Carson City, a whole bunch of Agra, things like that. You can add a lot of those other Quinn games onto this deluxe edition of La Stanza.
And that's it for Kickstarters.
That is indeed all of the Kickstarters. We're done.
Finished. On to
listener feedback.
Wide world of feedback.
Which there's no new emails for Jeff.
Emails at milehighgameguides.com.
You got that little taste, and now it's back to the desert with you.
Yeah. That's why I got sick.
Yeah.
Yes. It
you
was like
overindulged on emails.
Exactly. Yeah. You went so long without them, and then you got just too many in one shot, and it fucked with you.
Yeah.
There are, however, some new comments over on YouTube, with M over on episode 125 saying, Coors is very popular where I am. It's cheap, and after 2 beers, everything tastes like beer. Can we have Adrian's bloody 5-minute rant each week? Sorry, M. Did not rant, really, I don't think, too much this week. Although I will rant about the fact that it takes far more than 2 beers for Coors to actually taste like beer.
I would just rather not have beer. I think that was always something for me, is like I never got the beer that's there just to get you drunk.
No.
Like I would rather just not be drunk.
Same. Same. Like that's always like my one refining, like in the back of my mind, like I'm not like as hardcore alcoholic as some of the hardcore alcoholics I've known, in that I can be out of beer I like and still have a bunch of beer in my fridge, and it's like I don't like that beer, I'm not going to drink it. I don't care about alcohol enough to drink beer I don't like, which is why I don't drink Coors. So yeah. Next up,
you look like you want to say something, Jeff, but
no,
okay.
I was like, yeah, there's Coors is taking over every grocery store shelf now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like I was browsing the other day, and I was like, oh, that's AB InBev, that's owned by them, that's owned,
but
by
that's
them,
not
that's
Coors.
owned by them. No, but like Coors is there. All of Coors brands are also there.
Yes,
yeah.
All of the big name breweries.
Yeah,
exactly. And all what everybody said would happen,
and all of the craft breweries that they bought out.
Yes.
Yeah. And New Belgium.
the one big brewery in
And
Colorado.
Stone is in there too,
Yeah.
but it's kind of just the real big ones.
Yeah.
It's a transition phase.
Transition phase. It's only
We'll
been
see.
like
I mean, if you thought that super local brewery was going to be in there,
If you thought Strange was going to be in every major grocery store
No.
across Colorado,
No.
you are going to be mistaken from the start.
Debolt's in some Targets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Continuing
YouTube comments. Again, episode 125, Paulo chimes in. Yeah.
as is tradition.
Indeed, it is his corner. He says, yeah, Adrian didn't mention me in the Ericon Lookback. He only wanted to name drop celebrities to show that he's so cool. The little people were all just bundled up in some general acknowledgement that they exist and were there. Lowercase p. No breakfast cake for you, Adrian. Which I imagine in like the soup Nazi voice. No soup for you.
Yeah.
No
All right,
breakfast cake
you hear
for
it, Jeff? We can't let him have any more breakfast cake.
Yeah.
I gotta stop eating cake for breakfast. It's tragedy. Continuing the episode 125 comment chain, M chimes in. Dear Paulo, you may be a corner, but I'm the whole house. Dust mites live in the corners of this chaotic episode. Now to make Adrian say, yippee! Love you, XXOOXX.
It's weird how you didn't do XOXOXO.
I know.
Reminded me of Anakin Skywalker.
Well, is X hugs or kisses?
I've always seen XOXO as hugs and kisses,
Okay, so X
but I
is a
don't know which is which.
All right, so saying this, he's hugging you 4 times and then kissing you twice.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, hugging someone twice in a row just seems awkward.
See, I don't know. I feel like kisses are the X's because, like, more of the pursed lip, like X for whatever. Whereas a hug is like a big circle with your arms.
Okay.
So I imagine is like kiss, kiss, hug, hug, kiss, kiss, which is somehow more awkward.
Honestly, no, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you just hug someone, like, hug. All right, we're done. Hug again. That's like, it just seems awkward.
Hug, release.
Yeah.
Hug, release.
Oh, but I believe that's all listener feedback. No stuff on BGG, right, Zach?
No.
Next week, there will be, but not this week.
No. Yeah. So that kind of brings the whole show starting to come to a close there. If you want to get hold of us, you can always send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can also jump over to our BGG guild number 2731, where there are episode posts where you can comment on whatever the special Friday episode's going to be, either before or after the fact, or if you want to talk shit about something on the Wednesday Banter episode, that can also get thrown in on those weekly threads. They're kind of an all-encompassing thread.
I'm now adding so it's episode 126 and Time Stories Under the Mask.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good addition.
It's a new year.
It's a
We
new
had to change something.
something had to change.
New podcast, who dis?
You can also find us on Facebook.com/MileHighGameGuys. And you can follow all of us on Twitter. I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
If you are in the Denver area, you can swing by Hexacon this upcoming weekend on the 19th, where I will be doing a live stream. Well, not stream, but live recording of Mile High Dungeon Delvers with Wes and Bob from the most recent All Out of Bubblegum and the Dread, and various other guest appearances on the show, along with all of the other people who joined us to make Mile High Dungeon Delvers a thing. We'll be doing a live recording of the actual campaign, as well as doing a panel on fostering active role-playing, because that's something that's relevant to trying to do role-play on a podcast. You got to actually make things good for audio. Role-playing helps. This week, if you are local to Denver, I will be at Hexacon, a local board gaming nerd RPG convention here in Denver.
A nerdatorium.
Nerdatorium. Saturday morning from 10 until 3, we'll be doing a live recording of Mile High Dungeon Delvers with Wes and Bob from last Friday's All Out of Bubblegum show, as well as the Dread RPG and various other, guest things here on Mile High Game Guys.
You're recording a full episode?
We are recording a full episode. It's not going to... So we blocked out from 10 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it in 2-hour chunks, like 10 to noon, an hour break, and then 1 to 3, along with some like introduction and Q&A, things like that. So it won't be a full 5-hour episode because even Mile High Dungeon Delvers isn't that ridiculous anymore. Like our first episode was like over 4 hours, but we've realized that was ridiculous and worked on trimming it down. So we're recording for roughly 4 hours at Hexacon. Might be 1 or 2 episodes depending on how much actual good content there is. That's all other Mile High Dungeon Delver stuff. It's $25 for a 4-day weekend badge at Hexacon.
Yeah, like
So
Friday through Monday?
Yeah, Friday through Monday.
Yeah.
So, if you want to go do RPG and board gaming stuff and stop by and heckle us, we will have an event up there.
It's just going to be me and Zach in the audience heckling you.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is what you get for doing it live.
luckily it's not broadcast live, so I can edit that shit out and just like...
No, we're just going to be singing licensed songs, so you can't use any of the
we will throw you out.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first things when I met with everybody. We were talking about like doing the live recording for the episode. They're like, we need to do like an announcement at the beginning that's like, hey, feel free to like, interact with the show. But if you're obnoxious, we will throw you out and cut all of you out of the episode. So
We'll just dress up as Statler and Waldorf.
but yeah, all that's going on this weekend. So be sure to check that out. Yeah. And Wednesday episodes like this one, as always, are sponsored by our awesome hosts or sponsors.
Yeah, we're the hosts.
Awesome. We're the hosts. Our sponsors are Gray Fox Games, whose latest game, War of the Worlds, The New Wave, is out on Kickstarter now. You can jump back to the start of the Kickstarter segment to hear all about that game.
Yes.
Jeff, do you have a prepared statement?
Gray Fox Games, quality games cleverly crafted. Also, you mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Human beings can choose the kind of life they want to live. What's important is you choose life and then live.
Valuable advice for all of us.
Yes.
Choose life and then live.
Yeah, because if you choose life and then just die, it's like, well, that was pointless.
quote-
why bother?
A quote from someone that was immortal due to nanorobots.
I love how batshit insane that entire series.
Nanomachines. Literally the reason for everything.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. This Friday's featured episode will be a spoiler-full review / discussion about Time Stories Under the Mask.
Ruins? As we
MHGG
like to call it.
Ruins.
Mhm.
Time Stories Under the Mask.
No, sorry, what was it? Ruins?
Ruin.
Runes.
Yes.
Yep.
And then next week we will be back with another Wednesday Banter episode and tentatively planning on The Estates as our featured review next week. So Jeff and Zach giving it a second chance, free from the...
Giving it the old college try.
Yeah.
Junior college try, sir.
Free from the constraints of Southern chicken-induced comas. We will see how they actually feel about that pure auction game. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. As always, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I need more meth, Jeff.
Bye.
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 Patchwork Media,
where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair.
At punchboardmedia.com.